everyone, and welcome to the Australian Herpetoculture podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm your co-host, Luke.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, good. I almost jumped the gun then. I was going to ask you how you're going.
Hey, feel free to jump the gun anytime you want, mate.
Episode 23.
I know. It's almost half a year.
Time flies when you're having fun, so they say.
I know.
Hey, I
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It only feels like 10 episodes.
Oh, well, that's just our newbie brains when it comes to this whole podcasting world, right? We're still just kind of
That's exactly right.
flying by the seat of our pants, so they say.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That is exactly right. What's new, mate?
Oh, dude, I got so much new. I'm actually kind of glad. We had a guest lined up for tonight who still might come on at a later date, but unfortunately they've had to postpone for the temporary moment. And I'm actually glad because I felt like we haven't chatted in a long time. So, yeah, I've got a whole
Feels like it.
Yeah, like it probably hasn't been. It's probably only been 2 weeks, but
Yeah, well, we usually chat every day online, like on Messenger, but even the last few days we haven't really spoken. I've been busy, so
yeah. I mean, I had the last week off. Last week off? The week before, like moving house and
yeah.
smashing the shit out of my body doing that. But yeah, everything's pretty much in. I got a snake rack, and that's about it. So
Awesome.
yeah,
You staying there now full time?
about 4 nights a week at the moment. 4 nights a week at the moment, so it's not too bad. But
No, that's all right.
I'm enjoying it. I've got a little bit more time to tinker around with things, and start noticing a plant's dehydrating or something like that. You get that extra 3 seconds to water it or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
the little things, little things. But now I'm starting to kind of go through things and change things up, and I don't know, just perfect it because it's now my place. So it's.
Then you're there all the time and you can see it. Like, it's not like you're in between houses and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Like even today I went to Officeworks before coming home and went and got all my posters laminated. Like, so they're all nice in a matte finish too. So it's not like super glossy or anything either. So
I still need to do that.
yeah, I hung 3 of them just before we hopped on here, and it looks bloody fantastic. I'm super stoked.
How many did we get again? Was it 3? But you've obviously got that extra one as well.
No, we got 4. So we got the Nephorus poster, the Strophoris, the Begonia one, and also the Saltuarius. So yeah, we've got 4. Yep. But the Saltuarius and the Begonia one, they're actually a little bit smaller than the Nephorus and the Strophoris. So they're actually going to go on like the entry to the doorway underneath my frog canvas. So I'm going to put them there. And then the poster that I got off Josh as well, I got that laminated at the same time, and that's above my Nephorus and my Strophoris one with all the Central Australian goannas. So, yeah, that looks pretty cool up there.
Yeah, no, you sent me that picture before. It looked unreal.
Yeah. I
was like, I completely forgot mine. Like, mine are still rolled up. I'm like, oh, crap, I need to laminate mine. I got a few other things that need to get laminated as well. So I might make a trip to Officeworks on the weekend. So.
Yeah, I was going to get them framed, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Like the wall space that's here, I kind of measured it up, and I'm like, by the time I add a frame onto there, I'm only going to get one in one spot. Whereas at least this way, I can kind of have a few of them side by side and stuff. So it just makes use of the wall. So
yeah.
Something else that actually came up while I'm talking about decorating with posters and stuff. I don't know if you can see it behind me. You probably can't. But I got like these sheets of. They're like little thin sheets of black aluminium. It's like
Is that what it is? I thought they were sheets of core flute or something.
Oh, those ones there? Yeah, that's core flute, sorry. But on the ground behind me, I in my previous fish tank, my saltwater tank, I had like this aluminium light hood that was like a aluminium composite board, and it was like white on one side and black on the other. Yeah. And I was kind of like tidying up in this room the other day, and I found our box of like stickers from the podcast, and found some of like Tyson stickers and some of my Beach of Scaly Beast stickers and stuff. And I'm like, I'm actually going to make like a sticker board out of one of those.
That's a good idea.
One of those aluminium pieces, so I can cover it in stickers, and it's not all over a wall or anything, and I can just have that attached to the wall. And as I kind of get herp related stickers and stuff, then I can have it on this nice black board in here.
Yep. That looks sick.
Yeah, it's just something different.
I've got some stickers that come in the mail, so I'll send you one of mine. I'll give you one of mine next time I see it.
Oh, with the new logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that logo, man. It's a killer logo.
So hopefully they come, actually, because they come from America, so they should hopefully be here anytime soon.
Who did you get?
Hopefully they've been delivered to the wrong house. Sticker Mule.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's a pretty fair decent price, because obviously I got the podcast one's made on Vistaprint, but sticky mill is about the same price. But you can do like die cut ones. So if you don't have a square or a circle, it actually cuts out to the shape of your logo or whatever you've got. So
that's cool.
It's pretty handy. Yeah. So
I might have to get a few of those made up, seeing I've got a new logo on the way.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to say anything just in case you didn't want to say anything. So
no, well,
they'll look good with that one.
After seeing your logo, and I think Frizy got one as well. Frizy's Reptiles, he got one made up with a Kimbo and something else hanging off his logo. So I reached out.
I think it's a Amier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I reached out to Luke Glendenning from Serpent Aesthetics and said, hey, I think it's about time I pull the trigger on one of these bad boys and, get one of these made up. And he's like, yeah, I've got you covered. It's like, I think you need to redo your banner. I wanted to kind of keep the banner because that's kind of been my thing for a long time now. So pretty much keeping the banner very similar to what it is. And he's done a little cheeky gill and eye hanging off it. So
no, it looks good.
I'm stoked.
That'll come up good with those stickers, I reckon. So hopefully hopefully they can get, because the posties in my area have been so shocking lately. Like there's a community page that, everyone joins in when you move into a new community. Yeah. And basically everyone's posting up pictures of, if this is your house, can I please have my parcel? So the posties have just been dropping parcels of random houses. So hopefully that hasn't happened with but I haven't got a notification to say, it's been delivered or anything like that. So
that's pretty rough, hey? Yeah.
Oh, our guys are usually pretty good, but it's just one of those things. Australia Post, they're under the pump at the moment because everyone's at home. Yeah. So
yeah, I was going to say it's one of those times. It's pretty brutal at the moment. Like Dan and I did a IKEA order probably 2 weeks ago, and it's not due until the 21st of October.
Far out.
Yeah, it's like it's only over the hill over there. We can't go there right now, but and it's all simple stuff too. It's just like couch cushions and homely items, but at the same time it's just kind of aggravating to go, man, that sucks. We already paid.
It's probably like a 20-minute drive realistically at the moment without traffic.
Yep. And we still have to pay $70 postage, but for what?
That's crazy.
What do you do?
That is crazy.
This little feel of crowers going off tonight.
I was about to say they got a little bit of ambience in the background.
Yeah. It's not him, it's the crickets. The crickets aren't too bad at the moment. I think I'm waiting on a whole bunch to come into work. I just ordered about another 3,000, so it'll keep me going for another fortnight.
Yeah, I know. You fly through them, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't miss those days, to be honest.
Especially with all these Gillens monitors waking up and getting ready and trying to put on some weight and stuff. And yeah, it's so surreal being here now and actually just being able to go, I'll just walk into this room and check this out. Oh, there you are. Like I'm just walking around in my pajamas of a nighttime herping in my room. It's awesome.
Well, it's good because I get home from work now, and like if it's been a big day, I'll go crack a beer, and then obviously the kids will be playing in the yard, and then I'll open the door and come in and just check everything out. And now, like my son comes in and we'll feed the forest dragons, like tong feed them and stuff like that, and he insists on feeding off the tongs. He doesn't know how to use a set of tongs. He just holds them open and this and that, and then argues with me when I try and close them to hold a cricket or something like that. But yeah, he comes down, feeds them, absolutely loves it. They're smashing crickets off tongs and mealworms and roaches, and he just loves it. So he definitely doesn't have a fear of cockroaches like his mother. Like I open something, he's trying to pick them up with his fingers and feed them with his fingers. I'm like, nah, mate, don't feed them with your fingers just yet. Wait till you're a little bit older.
No, not when your fingers already look like a worm.
Yeah, exactly.
He's only got little fingers.
But yeah, he loves them, loves the frogs. He's just obsessed. But my daughter's actually like way more obsessed. So she was down there the other day and had the enclosure open and I was feeding them. And every time she saw him like take the crickets off the tongs, she was just like shaking her arms and jumping up and down. Like she was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So
got all excited.
Yeah. Good. It gives the missus a bit of a break. She's been with them all day and I bring them down here and we just spend a bit like half an hour down here just looking at things and feeding them and this and that. So it gives her a bit of a break for the day. and then I get to spend a bit of time down here with a beer and them, so it's good.
Yeah, it's all valuable time, right? And that's all memories you guys are going to create together and stuff. For you, that's
100%.
going to be like really cool to watch them grow up and develop an interest. And for them, that's something that they'll be able to tell later on if they do continue on with an interest and be like, yeah, Dad used to do this and Dad used to do that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of, handed down passion.
No, 100%. Like, I don't know where I got my passion from for him. It just kind of must have come out of nowhere. But, they'll grow up with him and this and that. So I've just got to, like, because I'll get I took the boys out the other day and had one just sitting on my hand and this and that. And he was like, he was patting it and feeling its spikes and this and that. But I've just got to watch him because he goes to be a little bit heavy handed. So I'm like, no, mate, you can't do that. So,
yeah.
But just loves them. It's so good. It's so good watching kids interact with animals. Like both our kids just are obsessed with animals.
Yeah.
Like the dog, the cat, the bird, the reptiles. Yeah, they're just obsessed.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm yet to have a kid of my own, but at the same time I've got a couple of young nephews, and it's always cool. When they were obviously this COVID break, I haven't seen them in a long time, but they'd come and see the fish tanks and just be like glued to the fish tanks and. Just watching these things, and you're just watching these little eyes light up and get so intrigued by things. And, Darcy, one of my young nephews, he'd always love touching the bearded dragon and that. And he'd take one look at the snakes and go, Unky Lukey, I no touch. He's not ready for the snakes yet. So,
yeah. So, I mean, there's to see how my son goes with snakes. He's got there's a few movies that have snakes in him. He's not scared of them. He's always kind of, a snake. And my daughter's got this it's like this spirally thing that kind of wraps around the pram handle in front of him. But he calls it a snake, and he's like, he just plays with it 24/7. He's like, oh, where's my snake? Where's my snake? Where's my snake? So it'd be interesting to see, if I get some pythons, what he actually does, like whether he's, intrigued by them or if he's a little bit scared or whatnot. But obviously, if he's scared, I'm not going to force him in his face. I said, that's all right, mate. Like, I'll just, take him away from the situation. But yeah, just be interesting to see what he's actually like with them. So
yeah, exactly. I will clarify too that I've never actually gotten a snake out for him to touch. Like he's just looked at him and gone, nah, that's not me. He's decided that. But it's funny because when this particular moment happened, we were talking about a rough scale that was just sitting on top of a ledge, probably asleep, like did not move, did not make any sort of movement whatsoever. Yet Loki bomb charges the glass and is at the glass like this, and he's just doesn't even flinch, just watching her. So it's kind of weird just how kids react to different things like that. Hey,
yeah, it's just I wonder if it's kind of the way they were raised, whether they're scared of snakes or whether it's actually some type of fear that comes from a little bit back years and thousands of years ago kind of thing. So
well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking this kid's probably the same age as your son, but how old's your son now? 2?
He's 2. He's almost 3. He's 3 in February. So
yeah, so that's my nephew's 3 in October. So very similar age, and he's only ever come into our garage. There's never been a negative experience with snakes, so to speak. And I've never gotten anything out with him around because obviously he's only a little fella, so I get a bit scared with some of the bigger things. And
yeah, exactly.
Hope for anything to go wrong.
I'd still be scared. Even if I had roughies or something like that, if I put him on the lawn or something like that, I wouldn't let him go too super close just in case, kids are they'll just grab and this and that. You have to kind of teach him, but yeah, it's one of those things.
Actually, I take that back. I did get a diamond python out on the lawn with him and I gave him a hook. So he would have, yeah. I mean, it was very, very,
loved it, though.
Very, very supervised, and he did just stand there and he just watched it, but and the diamond python couldn't give 2 shits about him. He was just kind of like, hey, I've got freedom. I'm going into this tree, but, yeah. I think that's the only experience that he would have had with a snake out of the enclosure. But, no, all in good fun.
Oh, you got Loki all moved in now?
Yeah, she's in. The big troublesome.
She.
I've got to get used to that. It still weirds me out. She was digging in her nest yesterday, and I was watching it like a hawk, thinking, is she doing it again? I don't think she is gravid, but, is she? So, yeah, she's been very ravenous.
Did you set up any heat or anything in there, or are you going to set up that, a little bit different than the way you had it? Because now she's a girl.
No, so originally, I don't know if you'd ever caught it. I'm assuming not, but originally in the build, because Loki was reasonably small when I transferred her into this big enclosure, I actually kind of went above and beyond, making sure there was like heated hide spots and stuff like that for her, just in case she did get really cold in the garage. So that little kind of nest box chamber, that's actually got a heat cord sandwiched between tiles in there, set to, I think it's 29 degrees or something.
Actually, I do remember that, yeah. But you let it dry out, though. That was the issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like previously, I'd just let it stay warm more than anything, and that's why those eggs would have desiccated pretty quickly. This time round, yes, I'll keep the soil a little bit more moist, and I've kind of, that big log that was resting on it too, I kind of used like a little angle bracket just to kind of like lift it up off there, so I can actually just open up the box and give it a hosing if I need to, or check on anything just in case she's been in there. But yeah, I reckon she might be cycling again because she's absolutely ravenous at the moment. Like I can barely go in the enclosure without her charging me at the moment. So,
geez, that'd be pretty cool. Some Partho clutch.
Can only hope, right? Can only hope. I'll give it a shot. There's no harm in it. Worst case, the egg goes bad and I toss it. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
It's not going to hurt anything. She's obviously going to do it anyway.
Yeah, especially that's right. You're not going to be able to stop it. So.
Especially on the wicket that I feed her. She had breakfast this morning and my wife was like, she can't eat all that, surely. And I'm like, you want to bet that'll be gone in 30 seconds. She had a rat, 2 prawns, a chunk of scallop and a little fish fillet. That's like
seafood buffet.
Yeah. Surf and turf, mate.
Yeah.
But
jeez.
That'll last her probably 3-4 days.
Yeah. Oh. That's right. Good food at the end of the day too. Like,
it's good variety.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the main things with some of the monitors too, especially the larger ones. Not so much the smaller ones, but
yeah. Well, and as I've alluded to in the past, it's easy to get trapped in that kind of cycle where you just, there's rodents in the freezer, I'll just toss all those in there.
Yeah.
It's not too bad at the moment. I've actually got another bucket of yabbies already outside in the courtyard, so
Mate, your courtyard will be looking like a zoo soon. Your neighbours are like, what's going on in this house?
Yeah, well, we've got the lizard pit all sorted now. So that's one less thing I have to do, which is awesome.
That turned out really well, that pit.
Yeah, I'm super stoked with it, hey. Super stoked.
Yeah, you sent me a picture. That was just an eBay special, wasn't it? That pit?
Yeah, so it's just a garden bed that I got off eBay. It's I think the dimensions on it are 1.6 meters by 80 by 80 centimeters. So it's a pretty decent little size box, but I made like a 2-part lid for the top of it, essentially just out of some H3 pine and some mesh and stuff that I had kicking around the old place, and a bit of clear corrugated roofing and some shade cloth. So I'll some stage I'll chuck up a video to it, no doubt. But it's pretty good. I like the design because it's kind of like the lids like lift in and out, which is, sometimes you'd think it's annoying and, I kind of get that. But at the same time, it's kind of too hard to make it hinged just where it was. And I can't exactly just be banging on the fence all the time with a hinged lid or anything. So, but the way it kind of is essentially like 2/3 open top, 1/3 covered in with the corrugated roofing on the top. And I went with the clear corrugated roofing too, because I figured I could just shade that super easy during summer. But then during winter, if you wanted to kind of either magnify heat or let in more light, then you could have that kind of like be open essentially to sunlight.
Yeah. You could just get some shade cloth, like dark shade cloth, and cover it over, or, a tarp or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I've done. So essentially I've got a shade cloth that's zip tied to one end of the enclosure that's kind of at the moment, just because it's a bit warmer, I've got it permanently over that waterproof side. And then it's long enough that I can drag it over the whole thing if I need to. And I've also got so much corrugated roofing left that it's enough to cover up the whole box too, and I can just weigh it down with a couple of tiles essentially. So, big downpour, like I think we had a bit of rain the other night or whatever, so I just went out there and just covered the whole thing up just so that it didn't get too wet inside the box. And Cunningham's and the Bluey are in there, so they seem to be doing all right. Perfect. They were hissing the hell out of me yesterday, so nothing's changed.
I bet you're stoked though to finally have a majority of your stuff in there, but a lot of the big stuff, because all your lizards are there now too, aren't they?
All the lizards are here. Everything everything with legs is here. I say that the turtles are still back home, but we still got to figure out what we're doing there. I don't know what we're going to do, or whether you're taking them, or whether I can get Andrew to babysit them for a bit or whatever. But we'll figure something out.
I just got to build a pond. I'm definitely going to do it. I just got to do it.
Yeah, digging a hole. That's the thing you got to do.
Yep.
Just start that.
My front yard has 2 holes in it at the moment that I've got to do a few things with the front, like where I was planning on putting it. So
yeah,
but it's not too like I've just got to get the time to do it. That's the biggest thing.
No, all in due course, dude. Like at the end of the day, like they're quite happy where they are right now, and it's not going to be the end of the world if they stay there. And my father-in-law throws in pellets a few times a week. You know, it's not the end of the world. And as I said, worst case, Andrew put his hand up for babysitting them, so I'm more than happy to take him up on that offer.
That's all right.
Yeah. Trouble would be,
but no, definitely, I'm okay.
Yeah. We'd have to go down and have a bit of a beer with Andrew if they did go to his place, though, just because that's always fun.
Might be a good idea to let him go to his place.
Maybe I should
for a bit so I can go down there. Yeah. I'll probably come home with more than just your turtles.
Well, that's the problem. He gets the old pool net out, and you don't know what you're dragging up off the bottom of those ponds.
Yeah, yeah, they were some nice ponds.
Yeah,
he sent pictures through. So if I had I've got a few things. So yeah, I'm tossing up what we want to do with this place, whether we do an extension and basically build a new shed. I don't know if I spoke about it last week or the week before. Build a new shed, like a new office, and move this, and basically where this is, eventually put a pool in for the kids in a couple of years. So just trying to work out. Obviously, we want to do the extension on the house because it's only a small house and this and that. So we're just trying to work out what we want to do and everything else. So I'd like to build a new shed. Basically, this will get knocked down.
Yeah.
And build a new shed, like a nicer one, a bit further over, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Not too much bigger, but still a little bit bigger. And then, yeah,
a
little bit of a higher roof, though, because I can almost touch the roof sitting on the chair I'm on now. Actually, I can touch the roof.
That's short.
Yeah, it's literally a standard door. Because it was a garage with a peaked roof, and I just built because it was it's a tin roof. It just gets scorching hot in summer. So I built a roof basically straight across the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
So then insulated the crap out of it all.
That would be short then. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my enclosures going, no way. You know, I'm...
Oh, no. I could only get... So on the racks, I could only get 2 60 high Exoterras and a 45 high Exoterra. Obviously with a gap that you get, the way the shelves adjust.
Yeah.
So there was a space of probably 100 mil above each enclosure.
That's mental.
So, yeah.
That's mental.
It worked. I made it work.
Well, that's it, right? You just got to make the space work for you. I feel like no matter what you do when you got reptiles, it's just a constant game of Tetris.
Yeah. And yeah, the thing, when you first start out, you want everything. And then I'm just kind of just happy to just get the few target species that I want, just have nice, large enclosures. And that's it. So,
yeah, that's still my downfall. I still kind of, I think my problem is I've got a lot of good friends in the hobby. They're like, hey, I think you should have this, or, we need to trade for this or something like that. It's yep, I do want that. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to make it work.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing when you've got a lot of things is trades. If you want something and someone wants what you've got, it's so easy. And then you end up with extra stuff. And especially when you start having eggs and getting hatchies out and stuff.
Yeah.
Your numbers just go through the roof. And then, if there's something you've been wanting for a while and you've been chatting with someone and they've got something else, that trade comes up and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I could go some of them, what I mean? And then you just end up doing the trade and it's just the way it goes really. But
it's a rabbit hole.
I'm just going to keep, that's exactly right. So I'm just going to keep to, the couple of things I want, and there might be a few things that sneak in here and there. But I just, I don't want to go too big like I was before.
I can appreciate the fact that you haven't just jumped in full ball again either.
Oh yeah, and I could have, but I've tracked a few things down that I wanted that I'm still still tracking down. But then there's obviously a couple of other things that I want to get. But I don't know. I've kind of been bitten by the frog bug though. Yeah,
that does seem to be a bit of your downfall.
Oh, yeah. I've just been on a mad say my wife goes to bed pretty early at night time now because we've got the 2 kids. So I get my son down. She'll go to sleep with my daughter. She'll go to bed 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30ish. And I usually go to bed about 9:30, so I've got like an hour where I'm just basically watch YouTube now. So I've just gone down like these rabbit holes of like frog enclosures, and I've watched a few of your old videos as well.
Don't do that.
From years ago. But I've just gone down these rabbit holes of and I've just basically like frogs, man.
Did you get really addicted?
Something about frogs.
Did you get really addicted to Troy Goldberg stuff?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've followed him on Instagram for ages. I think you asked me if I followed him maybe back when we started the podcast, and I was like, I'm not too sure, but it turned out I was following him, I think, or maybe I did follow him then. I can't remember. I might have seen him, but yeah, his videos are unreal. Obviously, their enclosures are a little bit different setup than what ours would be.
Oh, 100%. But it's all relevant.
Dart frogs. Yeah, 100%. You could still technically set up an enclosure the same way and keep frogs, but I try to like basically just want to have them kind of look like where they're from almost kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that was one of my...
But that's just personal preference.
That was my biggest kind of downfall with them, I reckon, is because I did want to follow his style so much because his stuff is just really amazing to look at. Like all the plants and everything in there just are so perfectly kept.
Yeah.
And when you see a whole wall of it together too, with just like all the colours in the plants, all the sorts of different shapes and stuff.
All the bromeliads and stuff like that. And
yeah, all the aroids and philodendrons and all that sort of stuff. Like it's just so cool. But then you come to the Australian stuff and you're like, you don't live in anything like this. You live in like a little sandstone puddle, essentially, like it's...
Pretty much, yeah. With a couple of weeds and reeds growing here and there. Like,
yeah.
Like I found... I can't remember what it was. One of the frogs at the front of my place was just in a bucket of water with some leaves in it. Like, pretty naturalistic enclosure you can make real simple. Just put a bucket in an exoterra, fill it with water, chuck some leaves in it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like some of our stuff, like you can make it look really good. But actually, some of the best enclosures that I ever saw. Oh, I'm struggling.
We're probably going to shout at the same person here because I saved a bunch of pictures the other day.
I don't know if it's going to be the same person. I can't remember his surname, but he used to work at Kellyville Pets, and his first name was Jake. And
okay, maybe it's not.
I went to his house. What did I get from him? I bought a pair of Phila Crow off him, and I went to his place at Western Sydney or whatever. And his house was like this little display room. And it was just like,
wow.
You know how my stuff's all stacked on top of each other, like it's all together sort of thing? It was nothing like that. He had like beautiful timber stands to every enclosure. And it was kind of like every enclosure at least had a division of, 50 centimeters between it before the next one sort of thing. And it was only one enclosure high and it would have like light hoods and all sorts to it. And I'm talking like exoterras and reptile one enclosures. But like he had all this amazing carpentry around every single enclosure, and he had things, like white-lipped tree frogs, red-eyed tree frogs, common eastern froglets, Boyd's forest dragons. He had the spinifex hopping mice. Like he just had all this stuff, but it was just so nicely looked after. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was I saved. I think it was I don't actually know the person. But I think it was, what was it? Let me see. Was it Black Snake Productions or something like that?
I know that name.
Yeah, I can't remember the actual guy's name. Like, obviously on one of the frog Facebook pages, he'd posted a picture of his enclosure there, and it was just like, it was a lot of like moss and natural branches and stuff that obviously he said he collected locally.
Yeah.
But it was just unreal. I can't remember the guy's name. Pretty sure it was Black Snake Productions.
Oh yeah, the red eye and Perron's tree frog enclosure. I'm just looking at it on Instagram now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's got monsteras, he's got devil's ivies and stuff like that in there, pothos and that. But that looks crazy. It looks like parlor palms, begonias. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that's obviously not Australian. Bird's nest fern, but that's cool. And it's like it looks like probably Java moss and old man's beard and all sorts of moss and stuff hanging off there.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
obviously,
cool.
yeah, like a lot of the plants you use aren't obviously native, but there's something about, I don't know, it looks awesome. I saw that, I was like, that's good. Like obviously that's quite a large enclosure as well. I think that was like a 90 by 90 Exoterra.
It looks pretty decent size, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a cracker.
I reckon that's bigger.
I
think that's one of those URS ones, to be honest.
Oh, it might be. It looks like it's got sliding rails.
Yeah, it does. That's really cool, though. That's really cool.
But yeah, like I like that style. Obviously, I like the bromeliads and stuff like that. But yeah, we're both sitting there probably watching the same video.
I think we are. And I feel bad for our listeners because we're just sitting here kind of in admiration of this stuff. But at the same time, it's really, really cool. So make sure you go and check out Black Snake Productions on Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram,
that enclosure alone, that's earned my follow.
I think it's like the 12th post in. But yeah, no, it's a cracker. He posted a fair bit on one of the frog pages on Facebook. But he actually spoke about sterilizing the moss and stuff he collected, because I think he actually maybe lost a few frogs to citrid fungus.
Oh yeah,
from some stuff he collected out of the bush, I believe.
Yeah, it's always risky.
So I was just kind of looking at how to basically sterilize moss and this and that to basically get rid of.
Did he go into it much?
Fungus. Yeah, he said, I think it was him, keeping basically your moss, and you put it in like 38-degree water for 6 hours, I think it was, maybe 5 hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, the higher the temperature, the lower the time frame, and it kills off the fungus.
Yeah, okay.
And obviously with your sticks and stuff like that, you can just, do a bit of a water to bleach solution and give them a bit of a wash, and that'll kill it as well. But, with your moss, you're not going to chuck bleach on your moss. So you soak it in the water at a bit of a higher temperature.
Some plants are a little bit
for a couple of hours,
a little bit hardier than others. Like I know that if
that's right.
A lot of aquatic plants you can just chuck into a bucket of bleach, diluted bleach, just to kill any sort of algae and snails and stuff like that quickly before you put them into fish tanks. I've done that plenty of times. It's been all right. But if you leave it there for too long, it's not. But.
Exactly. That's one of those things, you got to kind of be a bit wary of at the moment with your frogs.
Yeah.
With that kind of kicking around. It's kind of excelled a little bit at the moment, so they think it's citrid fungus, but
it seems to be really coming out and kicking ass at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping my local little population hasn't been hit by it, because I haven't heard them recently.
Yeah, it's a little bit disheartening when you don't.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we've got a storm coming, I think, tomorrow night, so I might have to keep an ear out. I might even go for a bit of a wander down the road tomorrow night once the kids are in bed and take the new flash diffuser down and see what I can find just down the road.
Have you been testing it out yet?
Just around the house. I haven't done too much. Once I clean up in here a little bit, because I've got crap everywhere at the moment that you can see, but no one else can. I might set up a little mock-up little setup and just take some pictures of some of the stuff I got here and give it a whirl and play with some settings and this and that and see how we go.
That's cool.
So,
speaking about seeing what I can see a whole bunch of greenery behind you. What's all that about?
Yeah. Big trip to Bunnings and the local nursery. So I've got 2 enclosures on the go at the moment for some frogs, obviously, hence the talk about the frog enclosures. So I purchased quite a few plants on the weekend from Bunnings and the local nursery. But now I'm kind of like, I don't know which ones I'll use, which ones I'll just plant. I've got a couple more tucked over that you can't see at the moment. So a couple of philodendrons and stuff like that. But they'll either just be floating around the room just to make the room look nice, or they'll actually go in some enclosures, I think. I'm not too sure. So
you can always complement your room, especially if you decide, no, that's not for me or whatever. You're not going to waste a plant. So
no, that's exactly right. So, but yeah, I think I've got the rack over here that used to be able to see on the camera, but I might even set that up just to put some plants on, and once I get some moss and stuff like that, I'll collect some moss and sterilize it and put them in some tubs with some lights over it and just try and propagate some of my own moss and stuff. So basically, I'm not out having to go and collect stuff. I can just, take from my own stuff, and I know it's clean. I know it doesn't have anything in it, and just chuck it in my enclosures and let it grow, hopefully.
Oh, that's always good.
With some plants on that, just take some cuttings and stuff and, go from there.
I've kind of gone a little bit of a similar route in a sense as well, that, I'd like to start being able to do a lot of that too, rather than being, going down to Bunnings or whatever and buying a plant every couple of weeks or something. It'd be awesome for, especially the plants that you can obviously do it with, like what you were talking about, Ficus pumila earlier before we jumped on. And, that's a plant that's pretty common in a lot of the terrariums. And, that's something I went and bought a big basket of it for it only cost me, I got it from Flower Power. It was on sale from $35 to $20, and then somehow I had a $10 voucher or whatever on my account there, so it only cost me $10 or something to get this
bargain
monster pumila pot. I'm I was going to throw the whole thing in an enclosure, and now I'm going, no, I'll actually propagate some of you and make cuttings and stuff like that and get you rooted in that, and then we'll go from there, and I'll pot you around that way. So
well, I only got just one of those little mini pots, from Bunnings, so I'll see what I can do with that. But I don't know. I love that. I love that ficus, that one.
Yeah.
Obviously you see sides of houses covered with it and stuff like that. It looks unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to let it not become too invasive in terrariums, because otherwise you lose its shape.
Yeah, that's right. So it needs a good prune every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how they would go with its root systems into tile pointing and stuff as well. Whether it would actually start tearing into tile pointing, or whether it's just so aerial, supposedly, that it won't actually burrow, if that makes sense.
I suppose it probably depends on how thick your coat is of tile pointing too.
Because that stuff.
But tile pointing is pretty thick.
Yeah, and when you're doing 3 or 4 coats, I don't think it would go through that. But you see houses that have been rendered or whatever, and then that pumila goes over the
top.
Pulls
the render.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, but that could be a dodgy rendering job too.
Yeah. Well, there's always a few dodgy tradies out there, right?
Don't know what you're talking about, mate. No, but there is, though. There honestly is.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't even tradies, so.
Well, I'm looking at the fan above me now, thinking at least this one's whirling around and safe. So
it's not going to fall out of your ceiling.
Nah. I love these fans, man. They're a good investment. I actually sold my last one the other day.
Really?
Of the ones that I actually got up $100. So.
Oh, that's all right. How good's that? Pulled fans out, bought new fans, you're up $100.
Yeah, and I'm safe. So I know they're not going to land on my head in the middle of the night.
Those things are bloody heavy.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, when I was at Bunnings, I bought some more of that Grid Connect stuff too.
Did you? What'd you get?
Just power boards though.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, I was even thinking of maybe chucking one on the misking. Using the Grid Connect for the misking.
Can you do seconds on it?
You could turn it on and off manually. You could do a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked too far into it, but you probably could. But
I think you can only do minutes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Mine only come on for 45 seconds anyway, so an extra 15 seconds isn't too much of a...
No. Well, I mean...
this Boyd's enclosure could probably actually use a little bit more. Because I was playing around with these 2 enclosures I've got at the moment that I'm setting up now.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they could actually go a little bit more regular with the misting rather than what I've got set up with the Boyd. So I was just trying to work out, different ways to do things for the misting system. But you can actually buy the pumps, similar pumps from Bunnings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're not too expensive either. So whether to just buy a second pump and have that on the Grid Connect for the frogs.
Well, it's not a hard thing.
Because I want to try and grow a bit of moss in these enclosures because I love moss. I reckon it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, then I reckon, if you're doing these frog enclosures and you're doing them with the kind of foam method that I used as well, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there won't be too much soil, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, because the foam you can just basically or not chuck it on top of the moss. You can't chuck it on top of the foam. You need a little bit of substrate there, but I won't have deep substrates or anything. That grows anywhere.
It does.
I got some of that too, so I'll chuck some of that in as well. But yeah, so I want to try and make a little bit more moss, have a little bit of moss growing on some of the branches and stuff like that. So just kind of make it look like the little bit of forest stuff or rainforest, so to speak, that's kind of down the road. So
well, then the more regular misting that it gets, the better. Like even in this Cornutus enclosure behind me, that's got a bird's nest fern that's wrapped up in moss, and that moss is still alive. I've had that going for months now. I don't remember when I made that enclosure, but that's been at least 4 months or something now. It could probably use a little bit more water on the moss, not going to lie, but it's still kicking. So and that was just some random moss I pulled out of my backyard too. I don't even know what that is. But yeah,
that's all right.
It works.
But yeah, so I'll probably do something similar. Whether I set up 2 miskings or just get a little bit more water in there compared to the other ones.
You could just tee it off the one you got running now, though, couldn't you?
Yeah, true. But I want to up the cycle, so the misting time.
Okay.
And instead of coming on once a day, I'd have it come on maybe twice a day or something like that.
Yeah, and at least the frogs won't care too much if you're doing a little bit of water like that, because at least it's not a fog, it's a mist.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, really.
So, and then obviously a couple of other things that I might have connected to the misting won't probably benefit from as much misting as well. So,
yeah, it'd be good to kind of be able to have that kind of interim in between the two and keep them a little bit separate in that sense. Did you?
If only I didn't saw my other one.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at I've got the pump up there and the reservoir under the desk. Yep. I topped that up the other day.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they are good. They are good fun. With the Grid Connect thing, did you get like the actual 4-point power board this time that you can individually control everything?
Yep, and the manual, like there's one that's always on. So I've got that one and I got the other one that's just the all 4 power points are just all like the same timer.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be handy for like UV lights. So I'll probably try and keep all the UV lights to come on at the same time and off at the same time. So I won't have like a all day UV. I think I've spoken about it before. I've only got it on for a couple of hours a day. So I'll just plug all the UV lights into that one. And then on the other board, I'll do, pumps or whatever else. But I think I might hook up a fan to this board's enclosure as well, just to get a bit of circulation running through it. So
yeah, that's not a bad idea, especially considering it's a reasonably sealed box too. You could muck around with the heating and stuff like that in there a little bit, and at least that kind of disperses a bit of the air. So same as when we first jumped on. Like my Boyd's fan goes off. I think it goes off 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock every day, just for I think it goes on for an hour each time, and it's just enough just kind of like just get rid of any stale air inside the box, kind of move it around a little bit. But dude, I'm loving the Grid Connect stuff at the moment. I was telling you the other day how I was kind of nerding out on it and like all the capabilities of it, and I've finally gone ahead and set up the temperature and the humidity sensors in this place now, and just like the controllability that has alone when you start going into like the automation side of things is phenomenal. So I've got like once you got like the temperature sensors hooked up, you can actually use that as a bit of a guide to tell your power to do certain things under certain circumstances. So for example, if this room gets to 27 degrees, that like with the temperature sensor, it'll tell the Boyd's fan to come on automatically. So then I know that just keeps them that little bit cooler. If the room gets to 30 degrees, it actually shuts power off to everything. So instead of,
that's unreal.
Just that little bit of peace of mind. At 28 degrees, I've got it to turn off the heating globes to anything in here, just so then they can still have a light cycle per se, and still get UV and stuff like that. But they're just not going to get that extra, whack of heat essentially, which realistically is only going to affect the monitors. And by that stage, they've probably already had about 6 hours of it anyway. What else have I got? Oh, like if the area that I live in gets above 31 degrees outside, then it automatically kicks the power off in here. You can set it. You can tell it to send notifications to your phone. So, hey, room's gotten to 28 degrees or whatever like that. And then I can quickly jump into my Grid Connect cameras as well, just to make sure that everything's gone off as it should be. Just as a fail-safe as well. But yeah, I've been mucking around with like the light cycles and stuff a bit at the moment. So I've got like heat globes that come on first thing in the morning, and then about half an hour later the UV kicks in, just so it's kind of like that first bit of morning warmth, and then you get that little bit of UV punch after that, and that runs for about 4 or 5 hours, and then after that just the LED kind of comes on just to kind of still mimic that light cycle, and then the heat kind of kicks off at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But the fact that I've got each of those on an individual
timed out
circuit, essentially, you can really muck around with the controllability.
It's amazing how far technology's come, like, since, in the last probably even 5 years.
And it just weirds me out about, like, the power board that we're talking about, $43.
Yeah.
The camera, $45. The temperature the temperature sensor, I think they're like $20, and you need to buy like a $30 hub. So it's not big money. If you've just got a little kind of, small collection or something, it's easy to fit it out. Even with a collection my size, I think I haven't spent more than maybe $400 or $500 on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is an investment in it.
Yeah, that's right. But at the same time, if you're like buying power boards, and I know you can buy cheap ones for like $10 and that, but most of your power boards with like the RCDs in them are around $20-$30 anyway. So you only spend an extra $10-$15, and you're getting one that you can fully program and set timers on and do whatever you want with.
And it takes a full, like, a high wattage too. Like, I think it's 600 watts per point.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not like that's quite a bit per point too.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
the possibility is endless with it, really.
Well, you go even further down the rabbit hole. It actually can tell you the I don't know where it actually gets the information off. I'm assuming it just gets it off the internet or whatever. But the sunrise and sunset features of it, you can have you can program the lights to come on, say 15 minutes after sunrise and go off 15 minutes before sunset and stuff like that. So it'll match the daylight cycles of the time of year in your location to completely match those, like, especially if you're just running something like an LED, for example, right?
Yeah.
Then that just mimics that perfectly. I mean, obviously, I just want that little bit more control right now until I kind of dial in my electricity bills, probably more than anything. But once I start getting into winter, that's something that I might actually start utilizing to kind of mimic that, just so it's, mimics those shorter days and longer days during the warmer months and stuff. So it's technology, man. Like, it's it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say I haven't looked too much into it. I just thought it was handy that you can turn lights on and off and this and that. So I haven't actually got any of the temperature hubs or anything like that. But
you're going to have
I'll definitely get some down the line.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Like, especially with summer coming up. Like, this is just like this is half the reason why I did it. It was just that kind of peace of mind. Especially after the shitty year that I had last year with the blotchies and the outdoor lizards. I mean, obviously that's a completely different ball game, but to know and have that little bit of peace of mind of the stuff inside, that's going to be. I should have spent more. This is the only other thing. I should have spent more money on the fans, so then I had the fans in here controllable as well, like the actual ceiling fans, because I think it was about another $100 a fan, and I should have done it. I'm regretting it now.
You would have only been down $200.
I know.
Or $100 if you just did 2 rooms.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have done it in the bedroom because that's just for me. Bugger me.
You could have just freaked your missus out. Turn the fan on and off when she's in there.
Turn the light on and off, like make it blink.
Yeah.
That would have been funny. Yeah, but like that would have been the only other thing that I could have done. And I mean, there might be some sort of way that I can override that with the controller or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into the fans on that side of things, but yeah, no, it's a great little we've probably waffled on probably almost every episode about this Grid Connect stuff.
Oh, like, you know what though? Like,
it's worth it.
I thought it was good before, but after learning a lot of this automation stuff to it and like actually spending, like a good few hours just playing around with it the other day because I had the time to after my Pfizer jab, and I was feeling pretty crappy, so I may as well made use of my time.
It knocked you out. It knocked you for 6, didn't it?
Yeah, dude. I was walking out of the jab center and I already had the headache.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happened to me the first time as well. Like, it was just like started getting light sensitive and a bit migrainey and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't sleep during the day, like, ever. And I was asleep at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was I was out.
See, I had mine. I didn't even get like nothing the next day or anything. But my wife, the next day, she was like, she had like a fever. She had headaches. Like she was ready to go to the hospital. Her headache was that bad.
Yeah.
She's never had a headache that bad in her life. She basically slept the whole day.
Yeah.
So we got it on the Saturday. Sunday, she pretty much slept from, I think she started feeling sick about 1 o'clock in the morning or maybe 12 o'clock at night. And then, yeah, she was probably come good at about 4 or 5 o'clock on the arvo.
That's rough.
So
I wasn't quite that bad, but I was damn grumpy, and I did wake up with a bit of a kind of, felt like a bit of fevery and stuff like that. Like I was, not great.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I didn't get a thing. I was kind of lucky, I think. It's kind of good, though, because we both got it at the same time. We didn't, like, she goes, I didn't know you'd get that sick, but I was prepared to get sick.
Yeah.
But, like, we've got the kids, obviously, so I would have just, because she's got like an autoimmune disease, so she would have just, like, I was prepared for her to be sick as well as me. I was just going to, look after the kids and that and just cop it on the chin. But, yeah, I did nothing.
Yeah, that's lucky.
So, yeah, definitely was. I had a little bit of a headache probably the next day after and the day after that, but I don't know whether that was just I wasn't drinking enough water or something like that, or I didn't sleep enough. But, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, a little bit different then.
Oh,
very lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can't probably. But I set up that enclosure that you gave me. The 90 by 60 Exoterra. It's only super basic for now, but it's actually got a trio of Gillini in there now. I've just done an introduction of a male to those two females that are on breeding loan.
Yep.
So, like typical Gillini, they're all in the trees. You can't see them.
They're hiding.
Yep. But we'll see how they go in there. It'll be pretty cool if they end up getting some eggs out of those guys as well. So I've got 3 females on the go this year, I think.
3 females or 3?
3 females.
Yep.
Potentially 4.
Wow.
So see how we go. Just one's a little bit small, and I don't really want to push her.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. But no, hopefully this little guy's a weapon.
Fingers crossed. Bit of new blood too, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the females aren't mine, so that'll definitely be new blood for me, regardless. But the male is one of my males from my original pair, just because he's probably the only one big enough up to the task. Because these girls are like tanks compared to him. They're so big.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool to kind of see like that enclosure come about. I will end up doing a big background and stuff in there eventually, but I just thought I just needed to slap this together, get some dirt in there, get some branches and stuff like that, get it happening. I blacked out the background on it though. That was the only thing that I really did.
So you couldn't see through, yeah.
Just so I couldn't see the cables.
Yeah. But you sent me some pictures of your female green tree python doing some weird things that could look a bit promising.
I have no idea what's going on with that snake. I got up, so I sent Jason photos the other day of her down in the leaf litter, and essentially all you could see was her eye poking out of the leaf litter. That was pretty cool.
A cool shot. That was really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to put it up on Instagram at some stage. But other than that, like, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday she spent the whole day in the leaf litter again. She was completely, like, could not even see her at all. I had to go searching for her to make sure she was in there. And I thought, maybe she's laying eggs. I'm not 100% sure. So I had to kind of sneak my phone in there with the camera on and stuff like that to see if I could see anything. Nothing. Tonight she's on the branch. So I have no idea what I'm expecting.
She refused food too, didn't she?
Yeah, hasn't eaten whatsoever. So she's never refused food. She's never gone to ground on me. The little guy, he's like gone and sat on the ground for shits and giggles multiple times. Yeah. So for him to do that, completely.
My mate used to do the same. He'd sit in the bottom corner of his enclosure like regularly.
Yeah.
And back then I was like, you read stuff on the forums and like, oh, if you green tree pythons on the ground, it's sick and this and that. Obviously that was wrong, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, it's
and now she's back up on the perch.
Yeah, and at some stage I was like the last week or so, I was able to run my hand over as well, and I couldn't feel any eggs, but she'd not long shed either. So I've got no idea, man. But like, it's just too weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that something's going on in her to trigger what she's doing, because that's just completely out of the ordinary for her. So
yeah,
I don't know. If I get eggs, I get eggs. But it's interesting.
You don't.
Yeah. It's just it's good to see her doing something different, which is kind of half the fun, I think.
Has she shed recently?
Yeah, so she shed. I'm going to say between about I should have marked it down. I'm an idiot because I didn't. But it was about a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting.
I should probably consult my library and see if I've got a book on green tree pythons, or several.
I've got several. If you want me to consult one of mine.
I've got Justin.
Have you got the new one? Justin Julender's one?
That one?
Right in your hand. Right, there you go. Yeah, perfect.
All over it like a fat kid on
Terry
a
Phillips.
Yep.
That's a good book, that one.
Terry Phillips. I don't think I got Terry Phillips's one. I got Greg Maxwell.
That's in your hand. Isn't it in your hand? Terry Phillips and Justin Julian?
Sorry, with Justin. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Then I got...
Yeah, because Greg Maxwell's got the two.
Yeah, I've just got the more complete Conjo. I don't have the old one. But yeah, I actually meant to do that the other day, is just read up on that gestation period. But anyway, I'll do that after the show, so I'm not reading a book.
Yeah. I need to start reading a little bit more, I think. I haven't had much time. I've been going deep diving on YouTube videos. So
getting on the frog terrariums.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about frogs. I don't know. They're growing on me. I've always loved them, but yeah.
You're getting
the missus are keen to do a big enclosure inside once we do the reno.
Yep.
So just for frogs, but I'm like, just be prepared that if you have frogs inside, they're going to be noisy.
Yep.
So we'll see how, once these guys start going on a bit, see what she says. But she just wants some, big green tree frogs or something like that. But something large.
Yeah. Easy to be seen.
Yeah. Nice display tank inside. So, I've already got I'm already thinking of large enclosure. We'll do a 90 Exoterra and this and that.
Go big. Do something custom. Do something cool.
I thought of that, but then I was like, the off the shelf's kind of handy. Otherwise, I have to get the whole glass. Oh, probably could. It's not that expensive, actually. It would probably be cheaper than buying the Exoterra.
Yeah. It honestly probably would be, and you could do something custom to your size. Like, think about it. You could make something that's 1.5 meters by 90 centimeters tall, and you could still do
deeper.
Yeah, and you could still do nice doors on the front of it and stuff. I know you love your swing doors and that. Like, it's
I hate sliding doors, especially with frogs.
Oh yeah,
and geckos and stuff. Like sliding doors, snakes is not too bad, but with fast geckos that can climb glass, there's nothing worse than sliding doors.
That's half the reason why I like it with the Gilleneye and stuff, is you got that door there to just defend in case somebody comes out on a food mode. But yeah, no, I reckon go custom, do something good. Like it, silicon's not that hard to put together with glass.
No, that's right.
But
I mean, it's not that expensive really to get them made, though. I don't think, from a fish tank place as well.
I mean, it does depend.
I could always just do it myself. Yeah. But it's the same. You price up a 90 by 90 Exoterra brand new.
Well, yeah, they're in that sort of $700 to $800 realm.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And because the tank doesn't physically need to hold a full tank of water, like even an aquarium place could put together a box for you out of thinner glass. Like, obviously, you might want a water area down the bottom, but that's going to be your only pressure point, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds like the go, I think.
Yeah, do something nice.
Yeah, so I've already got it kind of worked into where I'd have it. So, because we're going to do like a dual story, like a living room underneath, bedroom up top, stairs underneath will be bookshelves. Basically, the whole underneath the stairs will be a bookshelf, and then in the middle will just be a nice big tank.
Oh, cool.
So, could even be a green tree python tank too. So,
you can make it really natural and put the frogs in with the green tree python. Get some white
Don't know
lips.
about that one. Yeah, true.
No.
But yeah, so we'll see how we go.
Put a divider down the middle of it. Glass divider.
Mm.
Do your greens on one side and have your frogs on the other?
That'd be pretty big then.
Yeah, well, go big or go home. Put it to the people.
We'll see.
Let's see what everybody wants you to do. You should let us all know via our Facebook page or our Instagram page. What do you reckon Jay should do with the custom enclosure?
It'll be get scrubbies and just have a dedicated room or something along those lines.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're talking like, you want it to be a nice centerpiece of your house, gigantic scrub python sitting on a branch probably isn't the go.
No,
terrorizing your kids, but something nice and green to look at, full of plants.
Yeah, it'd look unreal, I reckon. That's the plan anyway. So
that'd be cool. I kind of wish that I did have a lot of my frogs still, but that just would have killed me in here. They would have killed me.
Man, yeah. Have you had complaints yet about your frogs now?
Not yet. Frogs isn't the problem. The frog. It's one frog.
The frog.
The frog. Yeah, it's one. Like I've got the 4 frogs, but only one of them calls. So
yeah,
I think I've only got the one boy.
So you're thinking it's one male?
Yeah. Every now and then I get a glimmer that I think that might be 2 boys in there, but I really think it's only the one. And more often than not, I can still hear him with my door shut to this room, and then through into the bedroom with our door shut. You can still hear him every now and then. So he's not too bad though. He calls with like an early evening and early morning, and that's about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's not too bad then.
Yeah. And I told you that we had a rooster in here.
Yeah. What's the go with that?
I have no idea.
Still?
I haven't,
or just the one off?
I haven't heard it again, but I've heard it. I heard it for like a week straight, basically. But yeah, somebody in the apartment block had a rooster. But
sounds right. This bloke with frogs, I'll get him back. I'll get a fucking rooster.
Oh well, joke's on him. He hasn't heard my cockatoo yet.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't got birds up there yet, have you?
Not yet. Yeah, they're last to come up. Once the wife's got all their clothes here, then we'll bring the birds up. We're waiting on the IKEA order for that because that's actually got a piece of furniture that we want to stick the bird cage on.
Yeah, fair enough.
So once that's here, that's here. But that's not too hard. We'll see how we go.
They staying inside or outside?
Oh, inside. I think Yeah. It gets pretty windy here, hey?
Yeah. You're kind of high up there.
Yeah, it honestly gets pretty windy, and that there's a bit of like a tunnel essentially next to us, just where the air gets furrowed down, and that's that side of that courtyard there gets pretty bloody blowy. I was trying to make your background out there, and it wasn't working for me. I should.
But what's that?
I was going to say I should hopefully get a coat of tile pointing on that this weekend, actually, for the first time.
That's all right. There's no hurry for it at the moment. So.
I also wanted to wait to see if I could find one of my tools. I found it, and I've got it up here ready to use it, but I found a heat gun.
Yep.
So I just want to kind of give it a bit of a blat with the heat gun just to see if I can make some more interesting shapes and stuff like that and kind of natural it up. Look at that. Man, where'd you...
On demand.
Did you get that out of a kid's toy store? It's a bright blue colour.
It's a Bunnings special.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if it turns on and makes heat. XU1,
it gets really hot. Yep. It's like a $20 Bunnings one.
Yeah, well, that's all it is, right? It's just charging your electricity out of the wall at 1,000 watts an hour or whatever it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Don't stick that in your grid connect.
No.
I think it's 1,000 watts, actually. Yeah, I think it was like a $20 special from Bunnings. 2,000 watt. Yeah, definitely don't stick that in your grid connect.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good thing you don't need a hairdryer, mate. You could use that. You'd be dry in a minute.
Mate, that's what happened. I did use it, melted all my hair off. But, yeah, that's just pretty funny. I had it sitting there. But, no, that's a good little heat gun for $20. I think I'm pretty sure it was $20.
Especially if it's
I used that when I did the Boyd's enclosure just to tighten up the foam a little bit in some of the areas. So
it's crazy how rigid it makes it, hey?
Oh, it's like you could almost just paint it, like realistically, like almost just paint it and it's like solid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but yeah, you almost could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think building backgrounds is kind of my forte. Don't get me wrong. It is. I just don't have the time. That's more so what it is.
I tell you what, after I moved those gillons into that enclosure, obviously I took down 2 of those 45, 60 tools. And one of them, I actually siliconed a foam background into the back of it.
Yeah.
And half the reason is because the actual tank itself, I got it for free because it had a crack down the whole back of it. So I just siliconed the crack, kind of taped it, and then siliconed this background flat onto it. And like the silicon job is like, I'm never getting this background that's foam off this thing. And I'm like, I'm going to just completely Jason this and just paint tile pointing straight over the top of it and call it a day.
It turns out all right on those Exoterra backgrounds, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I was like, that actually doesn't look half bad considering what it's gone from to what it is now.
Yeah.
Like it's more than worthwhile, I reckon.
Mind you, I didn't end up using them, but...
That's right, because you went to all that effort and then you went and bought Universal Rock backgrounds.
That's right. Made a trip to Kellyville Pets. Walked in. I wasn't planning on it. I literally was going to pick up another Exoterra background because for some reason I broke one of the other ones. So I was like, I'll just go grab another one. Like I'm working around the corner, ducked in to get some crickets and stuff on the way home from the pet shop and a couple of other bits and pieces for the bird and stuff. And I was like, oh, they've got Universal Rock backgrounds. They had like a stack of them. So I was like, oh, all right, I'll grab 2. So, no, I do like the shape of those Universal Rock ones, though.
They're a nice background for what they are.
Yeah, and they fit really good. Really good.
There's no effort involved whatsoever. You just take them out of the plastic and put them straight in those enclosures and they're just nice and snug.
It's very much me.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably just put like a couple of little dabs of silicone at the top just to pinch it in, but you don't even need it, really.
No. You could even, if you really wanted to, you could paint it a different color as well.
Oh, but, 100%.
I think that actually look pretty good, that color. So,
yeah. I mean, once it's all decked out with plants and that, you're only going to see little pieces of it anyway.
That's right. But yeah. Hopefully I get those knocked out pretty soon.
Have you had any more books come in the mail yet?
I did. Was it last week or maybe the week before?
Yep.
I think it was. I had a couple more of those A Naturalist Guide books. I got a couple off Scott.
Oh, you're showing me photos of those.
Yeah. So just a couple of I haven't delved into overseas reptiles books yet, but I've got a few of reptiles of Bali, I think, reptiles of India, a couple of bits and pieces like that.
Oh, nice.
And I also got another, I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was now. I think it was a Danny Brown. I think it might have been the Skink book. I got another one of those, I believe it was.
That's one book that I haven't read enough of, I think, is the Skink one.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the other ones I've flicked through quite a lot, but I'm kind of, at the moment, I was actually thinking about it the other day. I saw a few guys popping out skinks on Facebook. And I'm like, I should get some small skinks. I'm like, no, Luke, you got enough fucking shit here. It's just...
You've got some you don't see.
Yeah, well, that's half the reason. I could just get rid of those ones.
Might have to get it back off, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just it.
But then I realised I don't have the turtle book in that series for some reason. I thought I had it, but I don't. So
that's not a bad book, that one. I mean, it's pretty universal amongst the care of the turtles in there. I think that's one thing that I found was kind of a little bit of I won't say a downfall, but it just kind of didn't delve enough into different species because they are pretty similar in care in that sense. But yeah, I found that lacking a little bit. But it is a nice little...
The same could be said for the Python book, though, too. Or
the frogs.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a bit of a cookie cutter attitude, I think, on a few of those sorts of things.
But realistically, that's kind of, keeping them is kind of the same for the majority of things anyway.
It is.
The same could be said for the geckos as well, maybe with a few variations to different types of leaf tails and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but I suppose like geckos as a whole, there's a lot more geckos varieties as such.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that kind of comes into play. I'm just trying to see which ones I've actually got. Geckos, monitors, pythons, skinks, turtles, frogs. That's almost all of them, isn't it?
I think that is geckos. Was it geckos, monitors,
pythons, skinks, turtles, frogs? No, I need dragons and the elapid one,
and the health and disease,
and the elapid one. Yeah,
health and disease you can still get brand new online.
Okay.
I think Kellyville Pets have a few in stock.
Yeah, I'm not driving that far west.
They deliver.
Yeah.
Postage.
Yeah, true. I have to do.
But I mean, I've had a read of that one. It's not too bad. It gives you the basic idea of a couple of things in that book. But I mean,
it's always handy to have, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I just love books.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yep.
It's dangerous.
Your book collection's grown since you've been talking to me, though.
Bloody oath it has.
I've got a few here for you as well.
Oh, awesome. I actually ended up scoring. I don't know how this happened. So my mother-in-law turns around to me and goes, "Oh, you didn't take all of your books out of the bookshelf. You had these two like over in this corner over here." And I'm like, I don't remember having any in that particular spot in the bookshelf. They've got like this monster wall library type thing. Like it's like 6-7 meters long. Like it's massive. And she's like, "Oh, you left these books over here." And I'm like, "Well, I know that I definitely had the What Lizard Is That book by Jerry Swan and Steve Wilson. But then I didn't recognize one of the books that she handed me. And it just says Snakes of the World by Chris Matheson. And anyway, came up here. I'm like, okay, maybe it is my book. Maybe I bought it, whatever. I don't remember it. Came up here and turns out now I have 2 copies of the What Lizard Is That book. So one copy must be theirs. And now I've got a Snakes of the World book as well. So
I actually don't have that book. That What Lizard Is That?
Well, it's a good book. I've got 2 copies of it now. So
there you go.
Maybe we'll have to do a trade.
I've got a cogger for you, so
I think that's a fair trade.
It's an older one. But I've still got to get a few of them. That's probably my next thing. I'll track down a few of.
Just to try to collect the set.
Yeah. Obviously got to reach out to Matt and organise that other book that we've spoken about. But
oh yes, that one.
Yeah, I'll definitely get that one. But the next after that will be some coggers, I think. The rest of the coggers that I don't have. It's just so good flicking through the older books, the older coggers, and seeing all the different history, all the updates of species and this and that. So
yeah.
But there's something about books. I just love reading books.
Yeah.
Expand your knowledge a bit as well, you can troll through so many internet articles and this and that. Like Google Scholars is good because you can read all the papers and stuff, but at the same time, you get a good book. There's nothing better, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to be able to sit down and actually, I just like the smell of a book. I like the feel in my hand.
Yeah, same here. Kind of winds you down a bit as well, like sitting on your phone before you go to bed. Like I find I go to bed and I lay in bed for half an hour, 40 minutes and don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
But if I read a book, I'll go to bed and just basically fall asleep within 10 minutes. So,
especially if it's reading some like dry taxonomy or something like that, they can always help you get asleep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the best way to learn though too. I find if I read before I go to bed, I'll learn a lot more than if I read other times during the day for some weird reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But, I don't know. It's just, one of those things. But it's good to see a lot of people collecting books now though, I think. I've had a few messages about different books and this and that. People asking about books and stuff. I mean, I don't really know. There's guys out there that know a lot more about the books than I do, but yeah.
It's always good. Now, this is what's happened is you've put yourself out there, mate. You become the book guy.
But that's a good thing about the couple of the Facebook groups and that. Like that's how I know about the rest of the coggers I need. I've saved a post that's got, I can't remember who put the post up, It's basically they've taken a picture of all of the cogger covers. Then the first page, it was Jason Soulder. Basically, the first page of the book that tells you when it was printed. So basically, it's like a list of basically all the coggers of when they are, and then like all the dates and everything else. You can't really see it. It's a bit.
I can kind of see it.
Yeah, so on like next to it, he's kind of got the date. You can't see it, it's a bit shit. But he's got the date of when it was printed.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like I think it's the third page in, so you can see the different editions and stuff like that. So I've got like a list of ones that I need to get now. So that'll be the next one.
That's pretty cool.
That'll basically fill up that whole shelf there once I've got them, because so you can see these books here. Like, so it's basically coggers from there all the way to there. And I'm missing a bunch, so it'll fill up that shelf and more.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Getting right into it.
Yeah. Yep. Just love books. Love books. So, anyway. So, you got plans to upgrade some enclosures soon, mate? I hear.
I've got too many plans and not enough time and money. I think that's the problem.
Tell me about it.
Like, I've been stinging to do a big build on my diamond pythons that I think I'm going to have to put off for probably about another year, essentially, because I want to do like a full sandstone ledge background in their enclosure. But I think before I get stuck into that one, I want to redo my Kimberley rock monitor enclosure. And my frill neck enclosure. I think they're probably the first two to get a bit of an overhaul in Herp Room number 1. And the Kimbo should be pretty easy, because I think all I want to do is I essentially just want to repaint. I got the permission too from Cam. I want to repaint the background in it. Yeah. And I want to repaint like a whole bunch of rocks that I've got already to suit that sort of style. Like, I just want to kind of make it all nice and uniform. And I went out and, as I think we talked about in the past, I went out and got a whole bunch of nice kind of timber and stuff like that for that enclosure as well. And I think I'm going to follow suit with Matt's Kimberley rock monitor enclosure. He said that his Ficus Pamela is doing really well in that enclosure. So I actually want to give that a crack, just to add a little pop of greenery in there as well, just to see if that goes. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I don't know. I just want to hit it like really hard with like those deep dark reds, like you know, like where it's almost like that kind of crazy deep reddish purple, black. You know, like that kind of real rock. Yeah,
that Kimberley, like that deep, rich red Kimberley rock.
Yeah, and almost like I kind of like how Matt's enclosures almost look like it's in
like a purple tinge.
It almost looks like it's in the shadow of a gorge, almost, if that makes sense. Like it's like on a cool side of a gorge or something like that, maybe. But
because he posted up a story the other day, I think it had his Philosophoda.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was in his story, I think. But yeah, like the color of those backgrounds is unreal.
Yeah, well,
it must have been his story.
That's given me a lot of inspiration. Like seeing those enclosures, he pretty much nailed exactly what I want him to do to the enclosure that's right beside me. Actually, it's currently got my northern velvets in it, but that's going to be housing a young pair of Philosophoda from none other than Rick Worthy himself shortly, once this lockdown's kind of finished and I've got my finger pulled out and I can start on the background. But they're going to take pride and center right next to the podcast desk. So
beautiful. They're stunning, those geckos. I do miss them.
Yeah. It's like that's a species that I never thought I'd have the opportunity to keep. And then when Rick kind of put the offer that he did on the table, I was just like, oh, I'm not going to pass that up. That's something that's just too good to be true, essentially. And yeah, I want to do him something really nice. I want to give him, a fair whack of space for some young geckos, but at the same time, I don't know. I just want to try to make it as real as I can.
Yeah. So they hatchlings as well, obviously?
Knowing Rick, they would be well-established hatchlings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't really sell things that are small. Like, yeah, whenever I've gotten young geckos off him, they've always been decent sized.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of having the kind of facility that he does is, he's got the numbers there that he can, kind of have other things that he's raising up that are smaller and get these other things out there and know that they're going to be solid and not be a problem for him. So
he does really well with a lot of those obscure species as well. So
oh yeah, he's got the Jamada or whatever now as well.
Yeah,
I think he's bred those. And what was the other one that he bred that was like really bizarre? We were talking about it not too long ago. It's a
Spires.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You don't see those getting around at all.
No, you see the odd ones pop out here and there, probably, I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago. But other than that, yeah, they kind of just went quiet for a while. Obviously, people don't post as well, so that's the other thing. But
yeah,
no, he's done pretty well with them, I think. So
it's pretty cool to see what he's able to accomplish. It's just amazing, really, to consider that that's essentially one guy just doing this all and just nailing it.
Yeah.
I know he's got a little bit of help. Like, he's got a helping hand that comes in and helps clean and stuff like that for him. But other than that, like, it's very impressive. Very, very impressive. But yeah, no, apart from that, I really want to actually upgrade the frill neck enclosure, because after kind of tearing it down and putting it back together, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, as much as like the corrugated iron background and this thing's pretty cool, I actually just want to do something a little bit more natural than that. Like, I think it's just it's irking me a little bit to say that, I just want to do something a bit different. And I'm on the hunt for branches in particular for it to start. And I want to get like 3 or 4, at least 3, like dead straight, covered in bark branches. Because like when you're up in the top end, like everywhere, it's just like these perfectly straight trees, like when you're going through all that sort of like scrubby country and stuff up there. And that's what they're kind of clinging to. Whenever you see them in videos and stuff like that, or photos or whatever, you just see them on these perfectly dead straight poles of trees. And I want to get them, and I want to actually run them floor to ceiling in the enclosure too, just so they're not just kind of like cut off halfway or whatever like that. And if he wants to climb right up into the depths of the enclosure, then he can do that, so. And I'm tossing up with the idea as well. You know how you see people, they actually almost put like a photo on the back wall of their terrariums?
Yep.
Like a habitat shot?
Like a picture of the habitat, yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of tossing up whether I should print out, or whether my photos that I took when I was up in the NT are good enough to then print onto something big enough to wrap around in it. I don't know.
How big is your enclosure?
It's 4 foot by 4 foot. It's massive.
Yeah. Oh, you might do all right. What camera did you use to take the pictures?
I'm pretty sure I did one of the DSLRs. I'll have to have a look.
You might be all right, because that's a fair size image you're blowing up to. So it depends on obviously your megapixels and everything else when you're blowing up. The image is that big, but yeah, you might be all right, because otherwise you might get a bit pixelated.
Yeah, I can't remember which one I took it on. Either way, like I'm kind of going to think that it probably won't be good enough, but it's, just especially for a frilly too, like where they kind of come from, it just seems to be like never-ending forest. There's not exactly just a big rock behind them. So I don't know. Either that, or I'm kind of toying around with the idea of making like some sort of background that's like half termite mound, half painting or something like that.
Well, that'd be pretty cool.
Just something that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not half bad with a paintbrush, so it could probably work.
Better than me.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of paintbrushes, Rob's been getting into his enclosures lately. Have you seen that? Rob from Monsoon Monitors.
No, I haven't actually.
He started putting all his boxes together, and he's throwing his Rob flair on it. He quite often would actually paint the backgrounds into his enclosures. Like, so not only does he do kind of like a rockscape in a lot of them, but he actually does like kind of a bit of a sky scene, some trees and stuff like that into there as well. So that's been quite cool to see.
Did see a picture actually. I think that kind of rings a bell. Yeah, no, that's awesome. He's because he was keeping a lot of stuff outside, wasn't he? As well.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing that he was doing, and then he was saying, I'm pretty sure he was saying on our podcast that he was going, you know what, I'm going to bring a whole bunch of it inside now, just so he can control it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
there you go. That's awesome. Yeah, I just saw a picture then.
Well,
it looks unreal. He's even done the rocks and on the one I'm looking at.
Yeah. So he kind of he blends it together really well, and that's something that I noticed in his enclosures down in Sydney. That he had kind of like still painted parts of the walls, but then, as you said, blended the rock in with it as well. So, yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the best with the paintbrush, so.
He's a talented man. You have to give it to him.
No, I definitely love. I'll tell you what, I wish we would keep some of those Pilbara rock monitors.
Yeah,
they're stunning. Those things.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe
real
one day.
Crackers.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, if we're lucky enough. We don't have it too bad here in New South Wales, but at the same time,
quite
it's just, even the hammers.
Yeah, they're probably my favourite.
Just like crazy red heads on them, hey?
Yeah, definitely. But the Kimbos are like beautiful in their own reserve, though. That the spots on the back and everything else. You can see where all the Aboriginal art come from.
Oh, dude,
just looking at some of those.
Any of the monitors have that sort of stuff all over them. Like you talk about,
that's right.
Aki's, Tristus,
Parentes, everything.
Yeah, it's everywhere on them. Everywhere.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff. Actually, my Tristus, I've got one of my Tristus is starting to become super, super bold now. And then the other one's still sketch at the Sogny. But one of them is actually starting.
How old are they now? They'd be 8 months or something?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. When did I get them? I got them pretty much in March when we had
the expo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they'd be probably coming up to about that sort of old. But
yeah,
funny little things. A very underrated monitor species, I reckon. I love those. Love the Tristus group as a whole.
Yeah, so do I actually. So do I. I think if I was going to keep something that I could, if I wasn't going to get Kimbos or something, I'd probably keep some Tristus or something like that. I love the dark forms.
Yeah. Those real black forms.
Black heads. So, I don't know. It's just a slippery slope when you start going down that kind of thing.
Have you ever had monitors before? You had Gillens, didn't you?
Had some Gillens, yeah, that was it. So,
well, Gillens isn't a bad place to start, that's for sure. But
that's right.
In saying that, I think if you got your hands on something like some Kimbos or something, it would almost be all over for you.
Yeah, I love the longer heads.
Yeah.
I love the Gillens, but I love the looks of the Kimbos and the rock monitors and stuff like that. I just love something about the longer snouts and everything else that just kind of appeals to me. It's more of that monitor head that you think of. Yeah. But I do like the Breviacorta as well, but even though they're tiny, but I do like them as well. They're probably something I wouldn't mind one day, is getting some Breviacorta.
See, they've never done it for me.
Really? Yeah, I just think it's the size purely. You can keep them in a really nice enclosure, and they're relatively small. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's that.
I personally I think it's how you say you like the body shape essentially of some of the rock monitors. For me, the Breviacorta is just kind of like this really short, little
stumpy,
chunky thing, and I'm like, maybe that should be a skink. It's just I don't know, my brain just doesn't compute it properly or something. It just doesn't make sense for me to see that as a monitor as such. I know it is and all the rest of it, but I don't know. Not my style.
You don't see much
monitor.
of them around much, really, either.
No.
The Breviacorta.
No, you don't see lots
I know
of
Peter
them.
Birch had some, but...
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not too sure who else works with them.
I wonder how he is doing with them because, like, you see that he does have quite a few of them, but I never see him come up for sale unless it's just kind of like a to your mates or whatever, like that type thing. Obviously,
I'd imagine they'd be one of those things. You'd have a list, and go through the list. So probably they'd be gone before they'd even made like advertisement.
Yeah, you'd never have
he had
to.
Kimbo's as well.
Yeah,
a while ago. He probably still does, but yeah.
I need a female Kimbo.
I need Kimbos in general.
Yeah.
One day. I got a few other things I'd like to get before I get them.
If I manage to, hit the reptile gods on the nail this breeding season, then maybe I might be able to scrape together enough chump change to get another Kimbo. So
yep.
We'll see how we go.
Snake money, as Eric and I like to call it.
Snake money, yeah, it's lizard money here.
Yeah.
My snakes don't do shit.
Never know. It's just a little bit of promising action, but she kind of bluffed you tonight though. But
yeah, she psyched me out.
The shed and the testing out the lay area and that's kind of who knows.
Yeah, exactly. Look, and I think she kind of got up just to get a bit warm, and then she's probably gone down again. So, well, I don't know. I'll check after this anyway. Go and tuck her in. But chances are tomorrow morning she'll probably be back in the leaf litter. It's probably like 6 inches deep in like sphagnum mulch and leaf litter. I made it like seriously deep just so that she could feel super comfortable if she wanted to.
Yeah, because you sent me the one picture and she was kind of on top of the leaf litter, and then you sent me another one and you couldn't see her.
Well, I thought I'd lost her.
Yeah.
That was my problem. Is I was like, just about shit myself. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! The door's fucking locked. I had to go searching, but yeah, no, it's crazy what happens. Hey, it still weirds me out. Like it's cool watching it though. And now I've actually set up. Oh, I could probably tell you right now. I could log into my Grid Connect camera and tell you whether she's on the perch or not. Here we go.
So you got the 2 cameras set up, yeah? One in each room.
One in each room. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely handy.
It's the way to do it, I reckon. Okay.
I'll probably get one, I think. Might grab one this weekend, play around with it, and a couple of the other bits of Grid Connect stuff.
$45 or whatever it's worth. Like, why not?
Yeah.
She's not on the perch.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think I can see her. Yeah.
She might have gone up to get a little bit of heat.
I'm pretty sure I can see the little fella crawling around. Yep, that's definitely the little fella. But no, I can't see the big one, so there's hope still. Yeah. Maybe she's gone back into the leaf litter. I love these things. How good is this? Technology. Yeah. It's unreal. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's definitely come a long way. I'm just stoked to be getting back into stuff. It's good.
Well, you've come a long way from the garage that I was watching behind you. At least now you got plants, you got your bookshelf.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
it. Enclosures. I'll probably stick them on this wall anyway. Over the next year, I'm going to buy another one of these racks. So I'll put the boids there, and then I'll do the frogs on top of the boids until I get the other one set up, and like I've got some other things kicking around that'll come together over time. So
we won't reveal those just yet, shall we?
No. Some enclosures coming together. So yeah.
Well, that's something else that we've been talking to Eric about is the fact of actually us doing some live video essentially while we actually do like the Just You and Me podcast as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we have guests, we'll obviously, if they're comfortable, we'll do it. But if they just want to do the podcast, we'll just do the podcast, but on their audio. But, when it's just us, we might just jump on the live stream on YouTube so people can see my ugly mug. They've seen yours, so, and have it jump in. I think they've got a live chat set up as well, I think, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And, I think that's good because, you can kind of get that little bit of interaction and stuff with the audience as well.
Yeah.
Which I think can help definitely to some degree. But at the same time, there's been there's definitely been a few people that have asked about us doing like a video version of this, and this just might be a way to do that, because obviously we talk about books, we talk about, enclosures and stuff like that, and whatever else is going on. So it might be kind of easy.
What we're drinking.
Yeah. We didn't actually talk about what we were drinking tonight. I finished a whiskey and dry, and I'm onto a beer. What have you had?
You have whiskey then beer. Jeez, I usually go the other way, beer then whiskey.
I was worried about the ice in the whiskey, and I didn't want to get up halfway through a podcast and leave you hanging while I go and pour a drink.
Cool.
So
fair cool. I'm on the Bolters, on the XBAs.
Oh yeah, I haven't had those. Hey.
Oh, I love this. Probably my favorite beer. This one.
I was going to say, I do see you have that quite a fair bit.
Yeah, they're quite. The annoying thing is though, you buy a carton and it's only 16 beers in the carton, and it's like $60.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's one of those craft beers. I mean, they're 1.5 though. Each beer is 1.5. So.
Oh, okay. Getting up there.
But yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these pale ales though. They don't come in 6-packs; they come in 4-packs.
Yeah.
And the 4-packs are like $20-something. But it's a good beer though. But yeah, they're expensive. But I don't drink a crap load of beer. I'm not one of those guys that polishes off a carton a week or anything like that. So I kind of enjoy the beer that I drink.
I try not to drink too much personally, and I try to have if I am going to have a drink, I like sitting down and enjoying a drink while we're doing this.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Other than that, I might have one or two on a weekend or something like that, but it's about as crazy as I can.
You then. I drink a lot of red wine though, so that's my other thing.
You've got kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You need the stress relief.
Oh, tell me about it. My wife probably needs a little more than me because I'm kind of gone most of the day at work, but no, I enjoy a glass of red with dinner. It's good.
Actually, I've been having a few white wines lately.
So I can't drink white wine. Oh man, that's really I can't do it. I have a sip and it's too tangy.
Oh, as long as it doesn't come out of a bag.
That's the best white wine. The old Goon of Fortune.
Goon of Fortune. Jesus Christ. Only in Australia. So let's explain Goon of Fortune just quickly before we wrap this schmozzle show up.
So pretty much. Yeah. Oh, you can go. You go.
No, you go.
Oh, so pretty much, basically, back when I was 18, 19, 20, maybe even 16, 17. But you'd go to a party. You'd have the old Hills Hoist clothesline. You'd go to your local bottle-o and you buy, what were they, like $5-10, I think, for a cask of wine?
Pretty much.
And it was like, was it a litre?
Nah, more than that.
A litre of $7.50.
For a cask is like 4 or 5 litres, mate.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because you're talking about a box of wine.
Yeah, a box of wine. And then basically... We used to, I don't know what we used to do, but we used to buy mix. We'd buy a couple of whites, a couple of reds.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And then you'd peg them to the clothesline. So each side had basically, what do you call them? What are they called? Like when you take it out, what do you call the little foil bit?
Goon bag.
They've got a name. Goon bag, yeah. But I thought they had a name. But basically, you basically peg a goon bag on each side of the clothesline, and you'd all stand around the clothesline. And someone would spin the clothesline, and if it stopped, you'd had to basically just scull out of the goon bag.
Yeah, if it stopped in front of you, that is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you'd have you wouldn't have 4 people because obviously you're always going to drink. But if you only had 2 goon bags, you'd do 4 people or whatever. But you'd have a couple of people around the clothesline, and you just spin it. Oh man, they bring back memories. And then once you've had your big night and you drank all the goon, you could get that goon bag, fill it up with air, and then sleep on it as a pillow.
Oh, that was half the fun.
Yeah.
I'll have to find this photo for you later of me with a goon bag. I've never seen a goon bag so big. It was honestly like 1/2 meter by 1/2 meter. I don't know what was in it, but anyway, there's a random photo of me at 2 a.m. with this gigantic goon bag.
Yeah, right. That's huge. So do they have goon bags overseas or anything like that? I'm not too sure.
I don't know. Maybe our overseas listeners should let us know whether you've got boxed wine overseas. I'm sure you would. You'd have to.
Yeah, it's a big aluminium foil bag that's just filled with wine. and it's like it's cheap wine. Actually, in saying that, I had a really good Merlot once. I used to live up in the Hunter Valley, and bought a cask wine, and it was probably one of the best Merlots I've ever had.
Really?
And it was cheap, but it was delicious. Like, I still talk about it to this day. Like, I get wine delivered to the house, like I order like a box of it, and it comes to the house. But yeah, it was actually a really good wine. It was only a cheapie, but
it doesn't have to be expensive to be good. Yeah.
No, that's right. Aldi's got some good wines too.
Yeah, it's not half bad. Goon Fortune, hey? I haven't played that in a long time. I don't plan to either.
No, the hangover the next day after wine. Now, I'd struggle. Back then, different, but now I have 2-3 glasses of wine. I wake up with a headache the next day.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I get that. But no more King of Beers either.
No, and you're a bit younger than me too, I think, aren't you?
How old are you?
33.
You said that like you're questioning yourself. Are you actually lying and you're 36?
No, I'm 88. I was born in 88. So yeah, 33.
I'm 89. Not too far behind you.
So, 1 year. I thought you were a bit younger for some reason.
Oh, it's just my great.
I think it's the hair. So you're 32. There you go. Yeah, I honestly, like, when it comes to age, somebody asks me how old I am. I don't keep track.
I've been telling everybody that I'm 32 for the last year because I thought I was 32 for the last year.
Yeah,
I don't even remember. Like, age is nothing to me anymore, right? And my wife turns around and goes, "You know, you're 32 next month. You're not 32 yet." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well,
near enough, good enough.
32 for another year."
You should just start talking in months.
Yeah,
like, say how many months you are to your missus, like they do with kids.
That still weirds me out. It's not like it's their birthday every month.
No.
All right. Well, we're completely off track here. Thanks for listening to this schmozzle if you have gotten this far.
Yeah.
And let us know what sort of weird cask wine stories and games you have overseas. That's always something that will be quite interesting to come into our inboxes. But yeah. All right, guys, we'd like to say thanks to Eric and Owen and the rest of the MPR crew for having us. And if you'd like to contact them, it's best to find them at moreliapythonradio.net and email them at info@moreliapythonradio.net. As far as contacting us in our social media platforms, you can email us at australianherpetoculture@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Make sure to check out our Teespring store for podcast merch. The link is in the Facebook page. To see more of what Jason is doing, make sure to follow him on Facebook and Instagram at The Gecko Effect. For myself, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon.